Nobody spoke after Layla's confession. The silence inside the sitting room felt unbearable, heavy, painful, almost suffocating. I sat there quietly, staring at nothing while my thoughts ran wildly inside my head. Everything had fallen apart so quickly. The marriage, the secrets, the lies, the trust. Everything. And somehow, in the middle of all that chaos, little Aisha was the only innocent one. Hajia, Sada finally broke the silence. Her voice sounded tired, deeply tired. Subhanallah, she whispered, shaking her head slowly. All these years, this family was built on secrets. Nobody responded, because it was true. Every single one of us had been living inside, a lie one way or another. Ashman finally stood up slowly, for the first time since I met him. He looked broken, not angry, not proud, not defensive, just broken. He looked at Layla for a long moment before speaking. "So," he said quietly, "you never truly loved me?" Layla lowered her eyes. Silence. And somehow, that silence answered him more painfully than words ever could. Ashman let out a dry laugh filled with hurt. "All these years," he murmured, "I trusted you." Layla swallowed hard but said nothing. Maybe because there was nothing left to say anymore. Then suddenly, Hajia Sada spoke again. Her voice firmer this time. "Enough." Everyone looked toward her. This family has made too many decisions because of wealth, pride, and selfishness, she said heavily. And look where it brought all of us. Her words landed deeply inside me, because she was right. If not for wealth, I would never have entered this marriage. If not for greed, none of this would have happened. Slowly, Hajia Sada turned toward me. Atiyatullah, her eyes softened with guilt. "My daughter, I wronged you." My chest tightened immediately. "You came into this family innocent," she continued painfully. "Yet everybody used your kindness for their own convenience." Tears burned behind my eyes instantly. "But Wallahi," she whispered emotionally, "you were the only person who brought sincerity into this home." The room became quiet, again, and somehow, that hurt even more. I lowered my gaze slowly. For years, I had blamed myself, questioned myself, doubted myself, cried silently at night wondering, why? Allah kept testing me. But now, I finally understood something. Not every delay is punishment. Sometimes, Allah protects us from truths we cannot yet handle. I inhaled deeply before finally speaking. My voice came out soft but steady. "I don't hate any of you," I admitted quietly. Everyone looked at me immediately. But I'm tired. My fingers tightened, slightly around my jilbab, tired of lies, tired of secrets, tired of being used whenever it was convenient. Silence filled the room again. I looked toward Ashman briefly. "You should have told me the truth from the beginning." Pain flashed across his face instantly. "I know," he whispered, "and I'm sorry." For the first time, I believed him. Not because his mistake disappeared, but because regret was finally visible in him. Then my eyes moved toward Layla. She looked emotionally drained now. Gone was the pride and arrogance she once carried. For the first time, she looked empty, completely empty. And honestly, I pitied her, because a person who runs from, responsibility eventually runs into loneliness. Then softly, I asked the question sitting inside my heart. What happens to Aisha now? The room fell silent again. Layla looked away immediately. I can provide for her financially, she said quietly. But I don't think I'm capable of being the mother she deserves. My heart hurt instantly. How could someone speak about a child so coldly? Before anyone could respond, Ashman spoke firmly. No. Everyone turned toward him. Aisha is innocent in all of this, he said emotionally. Biological child or not. I raised her. I carried her. I loved her. His voice broke slightly, and nothing will change that. Tears gathered in my eyes instantly. Because despite all his flaws, at least that part of him was genuine. Hajia Seda wiped her tears quietly. Then raise her properly, she said firmly. Not with lies this time. Ashman nodded slowly. Then suddenly, he turned toward me. My heart tightened immediately. Atia, he called softly. There was something vulnerable in his voice I had never heard before. I know I don't deserve another chance. Silence, but if possible, he continued carefully. I want to fix this. I stared at him quietly. You were the best thing that happened to me, he admitted painfully, and I realized it too late. The room became still. I know I hurt you, he whispered. But wallahi, somewhere along the way, this marriage stopped being a contract for me. Tears gathered slowly in my eyes, because part of me already knew that. But love alone could not erase pain, and trust, once broken, never returns the same way. I looked down briefly before finally speaking. I forgive you. Ashman's eyes lifted toward me immediately. But forgiveness doesn't always mean staying. Silence. Painful silence. I need peace, I continued softly. Real peace. My chest tightened slightly. For the first time in my life, I want to choose myself. Tears rolled silently down Layla's face. Even Hajia, Sardar looked emotional now. And Ashman, he looked like someone watching everything slip through his fingers. I will always pray for you, I said sincerely. Then I looked toward Aisha's sleeping. They get upstairs in my mind, and I'll always love Aisha. My voice softened. But I cannot continue living inside something that began with brokenness from the very beginning. Nobody stopped me after that, because deep down, everybody knew I was right. Some weeks later, the divorce was completed peacefully. No drama, no fights, just silence. The kind of silence that comes after a storm finally ends. I moved back temporarily with Baba, while I continued attending madrasa, classes, and rebuilding my life slowly. And strangely, for the first time in years, I felt light, truly lightning. Ashman remained active in Aisha's life, and took responsibility for raising her despite everything. As for Layla, not long after, she left the house completely. Nobody truly knew where she went. But before leaving, she hugged Aisha tightly for a very long time. And somehow, I think that was the first moment she truly realized what it meant to be a mother. Months later, one evening after madrasa, I sat quietly outside watching the sunset. The breeze moved gently against my jilbab, while my tasbih rested inside my fingers, and for the first time in a very long while, My heart felt calm, not because life became perfect, but because I finally understood something important. Marriage alone is not enough. Love alone is not enough. A Nikkah built without honesty, sincerity, mercy, and trust will eventually collapse under the weight of its secrets. And sometimes, the most painful endings become the beginning of Allah's mercy.